What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Survivor Now podcast. My name is Randy. I am joined by my co-analyst, Matthew. And today, I am devastated. We are joined by the seventh castaway eliminated from Survivor Australia, Titans versus Rebels, Sarah. Sarah, let me just say that I had plans tonight. Matthew was going to do this alone. And I watched the episode and I went, Matthew, I got to be here tonight. True story. I was like, you were one of my favorites.
Oh my God, really? That means so much to me. That's so cute.
I was so devastated. I was like, Matthew, move over. I'm going to be here. And then, well, that's what I wanted to start off, kind of on a lighter note, but it's also a little dark by asking about the elimination and how did it go last night watching the episode play back? How did you enjoy the night? Who did you watch it with? Give us the information.
Yeah, so I just watched it with my mum and dad. It was actually so wholesome. Just me, mum and dad on the couch. And it was an emotional roller coaster. You know, it was a lot watching that because there was so much behind the scenes that I didn't know about. And a lot that went on that I found out last night, even the conversations I've had since the show, I was very surprised at some of the conversations and things people were saying about me, which were not true. So yeah, it was a ride. It was an emotional roller coaster, but feeling like I'm finally coming back down to earth now. I feel like it's been like, holy dooly, that was so stressful. I was so stressed. I feel like I'm sweating, just thinking about it.
Well, why don't we get back onto that roller coaster just for
don't do it, Matthew.
We have to. She's here. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was so interesting. Channel 10 uploaded the extended tribal where Viola was voted out, and we got to see all of your voting confessionals. And you said something about how you tried talking to Viola, but she didn't give you much information to go off of, which led to why you voted against her. But in this time before tribal council, it seemed like you almost had information overload. So did that hinder your gameplay in a way too?
To be honest, no. I just wanted to get to the bottom of like what was actually going on, because I was having different conversations with people and getting a different name pretty much every time. So I just wanted to find out the truth. I was sick of being on the wrong side of the vote, and I was sick of not knowing where people's votes were going, because up until that point and up until the Viola vote where I was actually in on that vote and finally thought I had gained some trust from Kitty, Caroline, and was in on an alliance and building that relationship, up until that point, I never was in on the vote. So I made a conscious decision after tribe swap, once Tobias got voted home, to start having more conversations, to get to the bottom of what actually was going on. So I don't think maybe it did hinder my gameplay because I got sent home in the end, but I was honestly just trying to find out the truth. And it was very confusing to me because I thought that I had a genuine connection with Kitty and Caroline, and turns out they were the ones actually throwing myself and Ree under the bus in the end. So,
I'm kind of curious. You said how you wanted to make you wanted to have more communications and make more kind of partnerships within the game. I'm interested to hear your take on how the tribe swap played out. Like once you found out the tribe that you were going to be on and that you guys didn't have the numbers, did you think that your game was over at that point? Because from what we saw, we just thought based off the edit that you didn't have too many friends on the Rebels after the Cuddle Crew kind of got separated. So how confident were you after that tribe swap?
Look, I actually had a pretty good connection with Riri and Kirby pre-tribe swap, pre-Tobias going home. I actually thought we had a 6. There was lots of chats about this strong 6 that they didn't show. So I thought I was with the girls as well. I thought I hadn't singled myself out to these 4 people in the Cuddle Crew. Riri was cuddling with us too, and so
they didn't show that.
No, they didn't show that. I was next to Riri, and she had a big fluffy jumper, so I was like, oh, score. And we got along very, very well. So after the tribe swap, because I was with Ree, and pre-tribe swap, I was on the bottom, it wasn't much different for me because I was used to being on the bottom. I was used to, having to fight my way each tribal council to find out what was going on and to try and be in on a vote, which never really worked. But yeah, look, my position in the game didn't change a whole lot because I was still kind of scrambling for anyone to let me in on, their vote, and anyone to try and build a relationship and the trust with that I knew I could build, but people just, for some reason, didn't want to. I don't know, because I was being so genuine. I think people thought I was really good at the game. They thought I was actually deceiving them because I was so genuine. They thought I was like acting, I think.
Oh, that's interesting. And on this note, I was curious to know, was there anyone that you were sort of hoping when a tribe swap came from the Titans that you were hoping would end up on a tribe with you that maybe didn't this time?
To be honest, it would have been nice if Kirby had ended up with myself and Ree, because I think that could have been a really strong force, the three of us. But it so happened that Kirby ended up on the Titans tribe, and it was just myself and Ree, and that wasn't enough numbers to build on. So we kind of, in the end, had to be a part of building someone else's alliance or majority vote. So yeah, look, me and Ree did stay really close, and we had lots of chats, lots more chats than I did with Alex. Didn't feel like I could trust him. He was quite sneaky and selfish, but I mean, it's Survivor, that's what you do. But yeah, I didn't feel like I had the same kind of trust with him that I did with Ree. So Ree and I kind of stuck together until the end, where she kind of got a bit confused and I got sent home.
So that's what I was going to bring up next. So trauma alert here coming up. We have to talk about last night getting sent packing. Mark comes up to you and Ree and says, okay, this is the plan. We want to, we're going for Caroline. Then we see the scramble begin where you go, should we tell her? The both of you are talking this out, and then you end up going to tell her the plan, and it all goes downhill seemingly from there. So can you just tell us, what did we not see in the edit about how this plan got switched from maybe a blindside on Caroline to a switch to Sarah's going home?
Yeah, so what you guys didn't see is that myself and Ree, Kitty and Caroline were actually quite close, and we had a lot of conversations where we spoke about being a strong four, like a girl alliance, and kind of taking each other to merge. And I thought that was a really genuine connection, and I got along with these girls. They were there for me on some pretty tough days, and I felt like I was building a relationship and trust with these girls, especially after being in on the vote with the Viola vote, with her going home. So I was like, okay, we're in. They can trust us. They've seen our vote was put where they told us, and I thought we were building on that. And then to find out that when myself and Ree went to Kitty and were trying to, give her a heads up because we thought we were aligned with her, to find out that then she had gone to her actual alliance and told them about myself and Ree myself and Ree telling her about Mark turning on them, then Mark coming back and telling us that was the first time I realized, okay, we can't trust Kitty. Because before that, I thought we had a little thing going. And then that's when I realized, okay, now let's reevaluate. Mark came up with the second plan, because the first plan, I wasn't in on it. I was like, I don't know if I can trust you. He put my name down the tribal before, so there wasn't that trust there. And he hadn't told us that he had an idol with the first plan. He just said, let's vote for Kitty. I want to get revenge, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't know if this is solid enough. And then when he came back with the second proposal of voting out Caroline and told us that he had an idol and told us about Kitty telling them about us jobbing them in, that's when I realized I can't trust Kitty. I'm now solid with Mark, and that was it for me. But for some reason, it wasn't enough for Ree, and she still thought she had some trust with Kitty and Caroline. I'm not sure. Maybe she knew that it wasn't her name on the chopping block, and maybe that's why she did what she did. I'm not sure.
It was devastating to watch, because it was almost one of those situations where you were you got told information and you're trying to be loyal and like trustworthy and be like, this is what I heard. And just to see the situation play out where they're like, no, she's lying. I couldn't even imagine how that would feel like in the instance, because there's nothing you could do to be like, no, I'm actually the one telling the truth here.
Yeah, and I said that. I was like, guys, I'm the one telling the truth. If you want the truth, just ask me. I will tell you the conversations I've had, and then we can figure it out. But yeah, that obviously didn't work, and people thought that I was just trying to confuse them. And yeah, I've since spoken to Eden and Kitty, and they're both like, I'm so sorry that I didn't believe you. They genuinely thought that I was just trying to blow stuff up, and it kind of came across that way, but I wasn't. I was just trying to get to the bottom of it.
Well, that's what I didn't understand about their reaction to this, because you all in their minds, like in your mind, you had a plan with them to vote out Mark originally. So it was very interesting to sort of see them take it in that way. I didn't quite understand, but I do also want to know, well, first of all, I also want to say, I completely understand why there was so much confusion around who to sort of trust in the situation. I think people forgot that Mark voted for you at the Viola Tribal Council. So I feel like I could totally understand why you were going back and forth between, all right, where is the vote actually landing? And I'm wondering if you and Rihanna had a moment before going on your way to Tribal Council where you both agreed on a name, or was it just completely up in the air at that point still too?
So we had a moment in between the first time Mark came to us and the second time, and that's when we went and told Kitty. And then after that, Mark came to us with the second plan, and what you saw on the screens, that last conversation, was literally right before we had to go to Tribal. Like that was done, and then we were like, we're going to Tribal. And then what do? You can't speak. Like that's the last of it. So I just took that last conversation for face value, and for I because I said I was solid and I thought we'd all agreed on it and it made sense in my brain. I thought that Ree was voting with us, but yeah, unfortunately she didn't, and it got me sent home. But
there's a little saltiness there. The way you said that, like, unfortunately, she owes you like some drinks, a pack of drinks or something. I'll say that.
Stirring the pot, Randy.
No,
that's why I'm here.
I genuinely love Ree, and I think she's such a beautiful person. We've caught up since the show, and she has actually brought me a drink. And look, she's made up for it. She feels so bad. She feels so bad, and she feels really silly, and I don't hold it against her because it's a game, and it was very confusing. Like it was so confusing. I totally get why she just thought she was going with the safe vote that night. So I get it.
What was it about what Ree was saying at Tribal Council that caused you to think, oh, something's wrong, she's not on the same page as us?
Well, I was first worried when we got to Tribal because she was seated at the other end. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the way they seat you sometimes indicates the way that you're going to vote. And I saw her up the complete opposite end to me. And I don't know if you saw, but I was giving her the eyes. I was trying to be like, what's going on? The
Tribal Council eyes.
Yeah, I was like, tell me what's going on through your eyes. And I remember her just going, it's okay. And I was like, okay, maybe she's just like, I don't know. I thought she was still solid at that point, but then I heard my name. That's when I knew something was up, because I heard whispers of my name multiple times, and then I was like, okay, they're not splitting anymore. It's all on me. And in hindsight, I should have had that conversation with Mark and been like, play the idol for me. Idol. But I wasn't going to do that because I still had an inkling that his name was on the chopping block as well. And I didn't want him to play the idol for me and him get sent home. I'm not that kind of person, so I would feel so bad. So I just let him play it for himself. And look, hindsight's a great thing. He should have played it for me, and that would have completely changed the game. But look, that's Survivor. Hindsight is no good when you're actually playing it. So yeah.
Well, Sarah, we have to know the answer to the question that everyone is dying to hear. And that's earlier on in the season, Eileen had a plan that would have put you in the decisive position between Alex and
Tobias.
excuse me, Tobias. Thank you. Ferris was in my head, and I was like, I know that's not right. Yeah, so it's Tobias versus Alex, and we all want to know, if you were put in that position, who would you have sent home in that situation?
Alex, for sure. Yeah, he would have gone home for sure. I would have, voted for Alex and kept that alliance strong with the two of us. And I have spoken to Ferris since, and he was really keen after that vote to bring us on board together and be two solid numbers for his alliance. But because that didn't happen, then it never kind of happened after that tribal, and I was left very upset, and I couldn't trust anyone, and it was really hard for anyone to build a solid relationship with me after that, because I was very emotional, and it was my 25th birthday the next day, and I was stuck on an island with people I couldn't trust, and trust is a big thing for me. So I was miserable, to be honest. I had lost my best friend in the game, and it was all happening, and my frontal lobe had fully formed on my 25th birthday, and my brain just was going bing, bing, bing. So
before we ask more about Tobias, I do have to say happy late birthday whenever it happened on the show. But you might be the only castaway ever in the history of Survivor that got a birthday party for them on the show. So I just have to ask, how does this rank in terms of your birthdays, to actually have like cupcakes and stuff out on the island? Whatever you guys had, where does this rank at?
Well, look, it started off so miserable, and I think they must have felt really bad. I don't know if they'd always planned to do it like that, but I think they saw how upset and how miserable I was on my birthday, and they felt really bad. And I'm so glad we won that challenge, because that just would have sucked if we didn't. But look, it's up there, but it's the best, but for so many different reasons. So many different reasons. That my birthday on the island literally felt like a rebirth. It felt like a quarter life crisis. My frontal lobe had finally fully formed. And I will never forget that birthday. Let's just say that. It was very memorable. And I did enjoy the sugar. I did very much enjoy the cupcakes.
You had party games too, right? We didn't get to see the party games, but what was the party game you had?
There was a bit of hopscotch and Twister, Kelly's favorite.
Twister.
We played
Finally.
Twister. And I don't know, there's a YouTube video on it of like the unseen stuff that's not on TV, and it shows us playing Twister, and it's like me, Ray, and Kelly, and the crazy ones playing Twister, and then there's like Ferris and Raymond like emptying all the bags looking for idols, and we're just like got our bum up in the air and our legs up in the air, just playing Twister, just having fun. It just like describes our personalities so well.
Wait, I was so curious. What did you use for this for the island made Twister? What did you use for the selector?
Oh, this is stuff that we need to know. We're done with the game now. We just need to know the party, like all the Twister news.
Yeah, so we had shells for one of the colors. We had seaweed. We had like driftwood, and we had, what was the fourth one? Rocks, like big chunks of coral. Yeah.
You know what? I think Kelly has marketed something for future Survivor players. There is going to be a Twister kit as one of the reward challenges. It's just going back, Sarah, it's actually so surprising to me to hear this distrust in Alex that you had, because the edit really, to me, made it seem like that Cuddle Squad, that crew, was very tight. But this makes so much more sense to me now. And I think it's going to make a lot more sense to other viewers why there was so much confusion with this vote and who you trust. I didn't realize all of this.
Yeah. So I think myself and Alex were portrayed as being an alliance by default, because we were in this cuddle alliance that they love to follow the narrative of, that I didn't actually think was an alliance. I thought there was a strong 6 with Kirby and Ree in this, and Alex was just there by default with Peter, because he was close with Peter, and Peter had found the idol on day 1 or day 2, and he wanted to stick with her because she had an idol, and I get that. So he was just in that alliance by default. We didn't really have a strong personal connection. And then once that alliance got attacked, with Peter getting sent home and then Tobias getting sent home, there wasn't really anything left for me and Alex. And especially because we were on the bottom and we were both trying to pave our own way and make our own alliances and relationships with people, I think there was a lot of like, you know, I'm going to do this first before you do, not let's work together and figure it out together. There was never that kind of narrative for Alex and I.
So before we ask our final couple of questions, because I know we have to wrap up, unfortunately, with you here, but we do want to know, have you and Tobias stayed in contact? Are you guys really good friends? What has happened since being out there as part of this so-called Cuddle Crew? Where's the relationship at with you guys?
Yeah, me and Tobias speak often. He's one of like my best friends from the show. Obviously, we were super close in the short amount of time that we had with each other. And yeah, we speak pretty often. He's a very similar person to me. You know, we both surf and we're both from coastal towns and have very similar interests. So yeah, look, there's a nice little relationship there, friendship. I think we'll be friends forever, to be honest. We share like a beautiful memory and journey together being on such a crazy show like Survivor. I feel like with everyone that's been on the show, I'm probably going to be in contact with them forever. They're my new little second family. I'm also really close with Kirby and Riri. Like I went to Melbourne recently and stayed down there with them. So like these girls are my sisters now. So yeah, I don't know. What you saw on the show was genuine. We did have a really nice connection, and yeah, and that will continue. He's one of my best mates now.
Sarah,
I love hearing that. Go ahead, Matthew.
I was gonna say, you get the phone call again. Are you going back?
100%. I need a redemption season. I need to go back and like, with everything that I've learned and with all of the self-growth and my journey after the show, I'm going to bring all of that back and actually play the game and differentiate my real life personality from the game personality rather than trying to, I will still be me. I will still be me. I would just be a smarter, wiser me with a fully formed frontal lobe. Because I'm 25 now, so I know things. I know things.
Sarah, I know I can speak for Matthew and myself by saying, like, we really want you to get that opportunity. We would love to see you back out there. And we're not just saying that. Go back and watch our interviews. We sometimes say it and sometimes no. But the other thing is, if we ever make it out to Australia, we're going to you and Tobias to teach us how to surf, because
100%.
I think it's about time we learn how to surf.
Well, I actually work for a surf school, on and off, but I actually work for a surf school. So if you do come over, genuinely, I will take you out. We'll get the foamies. I'll push you onto the waves. We'll have a bit of fun.
We'll get a discount.
Yeah, free, babe, free.
Until she sees how bad I am and how like uncoordinated I am, then she might be like, "You're gonna have to pay for me to put up with this." But Sarah,
no,
thank
just
you.
take me for a drink, babe. Take me for a drink.
I can make that deal. But Sarah, thank you so much for joining us. If you ever want to come back and chat Survivor with us, you have an open invitation on the show. It has been an honor speaking with you.
Oh, thank you. You too. You guys have been so amazing to chat to, and I've really enjoyed today. So thank you.
Have a good one.